Hello my friends, welcome to another exciting episode in our Photoshop design series. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the process of creating this thumbnail design inside of Photoshop. Yes, and my PSD templates are still very much available, so if you want to purchase them, click on the link in the description. And also the Smart Designer Premium Asset is still very much available. So if you want to get yours, click the link in the description of this video. Without having to say much, if you have not subscribed to this channel, now is the right time to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notification so you miss any of the videos I'll be dropping in time from now. Without having to say much, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is go over to File and also click on New like this, right? And what you want to do here is I'm just going to make changes to this part here and put in the name of what I want to design. For this, I'm going to be using pixels, so I'm going to be using 1920 by 1080 for this. Great, everything else stays the same, and when you're done with that, transparent for this, and click create like this, and yes, this is the interface. So let's get things on the way. Click on the adjustment layer, right? I'm just setting a basic background color, anything aside from white. I'm just going to be using this. Just feel free to just play with any color at first, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to select this color, right? Because this is what I'm using for my lights later on, right? My highlights later on and the glow effect. Right, so for this, this is the color code, so you can use that. Right, okay, so double click on this. This is the color code of the light, so you can change it. I'm going to change this here. I'm going to use this background first. I'm using a dark background because of what I want to try to create. Right, so now that I have this, all things being equal, I'm going over to my resource file. You can get this resource file in the description of this video. Right, just click on the link and get them. So click OK when you bring this inside. Right, what you want to do is get rid of the background, so I'm going to rasterize this and click on remove background like this. Right, so give Photoshop time to do its thing, and while it's selecting the background and analyzing the image, it's also removing the background. Right, so and yep, it's done. Right, so you can see that background is removed, but a couple of things you want to do. So right click, convert to smart object like this, and what you want to do is hold down Control and click on the thumbnail to make a selection like this, right? And click on this mask. Right, now with the mask selected, go over to filter and go to order and click on minimum. Right, and when you click on minimum, what you should do is make sure you pay attention to the edges. Right, so we are trying to get rid of all those white edges, right? So to make sure that it's smoothened out, so I'm just going to increase the radius like this, and you can see we have a nice smooth edge, not too smooth, but at least something we can work with. Right, so when you do this, click OK, and this is what you have. Now what you want to do is right click again and convert this to smart object back like this, and create a mask again for it. This time select the brush, turn off cap locks so you won't get that awkward looking plus sign when you use the brush. Flip this to black because we're working on a white mask, and get rid of these areas like this, and you can zoom in and zoom out just like I'm doing like this, and get rid of these areas. Right, this is exactly where you want to be. Okay, Ctrl T, and I'm just going to reduce this a bit because it's a little bit too big. Right, and position it there like that, just in the center of the composition or this page or your design. So get rid of these edges too, and be sure that you have a balance between the image and the background so it blends in well. Okay, so a couple of things I want to do with this image, make it pop, is where I want to start from. So go to filter and go to camera raw,
Now inside of Camera Raw, when it loads up, what you should do is now go over to under basics. You want to take down the highlights like this, and you want to increase the contrast. Just follow my settings for this, please. And the shadows, increase the texture like this, and add clarity to it. We might still come back here to make things more punchier, but for now this is the setting I'm going to use. So even inside details, I'm going to sharpen this up and click OK like this. Okay, so when you do this the right way, this is the result that you're going to get. And now we want to work on smoothing things out, especially the face, right? So yeah, so how do you get this done? What you should do is right click on this, convert to smart object, and right click again and rasterize layer. Good. So go over to your brush and now select the mixer brush. Now this is how it works. Click on the Alt key and make sure you're using my settings for this. Click on the Alt key, sample a point. I'm going to sample this point and I'm just going to paint like this, and you can see how it's smoothing things out just like this. Right, so smoothing this out. Make sure you don't go towards the eyebrow because this needs to be very, very sharp. On the face here, on Alt, sample, then smoothing out. That's how you do it. And for all these places, I would like to reduce the flow, reduce it to 11. Alt, sample, and smoothing things out here. Alt, sample, smoothing out. You understand by now, right? So I'm just going to do this all the way to this point. Alt, sample, and smoothing it out. Go through all these areas like this. Okay, so yeah, all this part here. Okay, so I'm just going to convert it to smart object. When I'm done, you can see I've converted it, and I'm going back to the brush. What I'm going to do now is create a light flow. So I'm going to make the brush bigger. Make sure my foreground color is set to that orange color that I set in the first place. And I'm going to change the blend mode to screen like this, and move this down a bit like this. And you need to really pay attention at this point here right now. So I'm going to leave it at linear dodge add instead. It feels more brightened up compared to screen. And duplicate this, Ctrl J, and bring this here, and bring it out a little bit. So we have 3 light source for this composition. Okay, so create an adjustment layer. Let's work on the image now, and click on exposure like this, and when it comes out, right click and create clipping mask like this. Okay, you can zoom in and reduce the exposure itself like this, and most times I like to increase the gamma correction just a bit when I add exposure, right? And I think I'm fine with this exposure the way it is here. And most times exposure is actually a game changer in anything you're doing, right? So learn to use it and use it well. Now invert it, and I'm just going to use my brush. You can see that my flow is set to 100. I'm just gradually revealing the lights on where I want it to be revealed. So I'm just going to reveal the light here here like this. Just gently, you can see I'm on the edge. I'm not going inside too much on the edge. You don't need to do too much. Reduce the exposure a bit and continue revealing where you want the light to hit. Right on this top part, I want on this place, I also want the light to hit this part here, and here also. Right, let me zoom out so I'm seeing this well. Okay, good. This is the first step. At least I've been able to identify where the light actually hits, and of course I'm going to come over to the eye region here, reduce my flow, and I'm going to reveal the eyes, make it visible. Right, yes, like this and like this. Right, basically most this can be seen as dodging and burning and all of that, but yeah, while you're using exposure, so you can actually dodge and burn using exposure, but you just have to make sure you're in control of what you're doing. Right, so I'm just going to leave this way, and this is where I'm going to start off things. I'm going to turn on this light so I can see what I'm doing in real time. You can see I have a light source here, so I'm going to duplicate this, Ctrl T, rotate this, and place this somewhere here. This is my third light source, like this. Okay, so click enter now that that's out of the way, and yeah, so basically I'm going to select these three layers, and select, hold down shift, select all of them, and Ctrl G to group them, and just going to name this light like this. Okay, so turn it off, and let's continue with what we started with on this image. Okay, so let's make this more fun. So go over to adjustment layer, click on solid color, and click OK if you're selecting the orange, and make sure you clip it to the image. Change the blend mode to screen. I'm going to use screen first. All right, click the mask and invert it, and I'm just going to select my brush, and make sure you turn off cap locks, and I'm just going to reduce my flow to 13. My flow is set to 13. Click this so that you're painting with the white, on the white instead, and yes, reveal the lights, reveal, just be careful about it, and just go on. You can see how I am on the edge, I'm not inside. Right, you need to know how to do this the right way. Makes a whole lot of difference. Right, so review here, and always learn to zoom in and zoom out just like I'm doing, so that you can actually get a feel of what you are doing. And when you're zoomed out too much like this, you can press Ctrl 0 on your keyboard to actually zoom in back. Right, so I'm just going to go on with this process. You can see how I drew this just at once, and I'm just going to come back here and make my brush smaller on the edge. I'm going to increase the strokes double like this to make it double like this, because from the look of things the edge should have more light intake compared to other places. So I'm going to reduce this to like the barest minimum, and I'm going to fill in the lights here, and also on this part too, also on this part here, and yeah, good. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to right click on blending option, and I'm just going to come here on the underline layer, hold down alt key while you break this. If you watched my previous video, you understand how to do this by now. hold down your Alt key and until it blends in well with the image, right? And you can then click OK like this. So this is a good way to start. So you can see that it's evenly balanced. So you can now come in here and impute some amount, some level of light that you want. Note that my flow is set to 5 when I'm doing all of this, because I don't want the light to be too dominant, right? On the face region, all these places I'm going to apply it. It makes a whole lot of sense that way. All right, great. So right about now, the next thing I want to do is, yes, you guessed right, add some more light to it, but I'm going to change this to a black background because yes, this is what we are actually working on, to make it more realistic, right? I just turn on the light so I can actually see how much progress I have made. Good. So let's go on, adjustment layer, and solid color again, but this time I'm going to be using a lighter shade of that orange I used. Click OK and create clipping mask. This time I'm going to be using linear dodge add, not screen, right? Because I need a lighter version of what I used before. So linear dodge is just a plus, a ×2 of what the screen offers you, or a +5 of what the screen actually offers you. So what I'm going to do is I inverted layer and I'm selecting my brush. You can see my flow is set to 5, and I'm just going to reveal where I want this to be. Remember, this is a sharper and a more lighter color, so I'm just going to stay at the edges. You can see the difference in the edges alone, and I'm not going to come deep inside. Ctrl Z. I'm just going to stay on the edges like this, in the edges alone, please. Then I can increase my flow to like 62 and paint only on the edges to make it sharper. So we have a gradient of from sharp to like a dull kind of effect. I don't know if you understand. So it's like a fiery effect right now, just the way this is light, right? So a combination of these two colors like this can give you exactly what you want, right? So you have several methods of actually doing this, but this is what I tend to see as very, very easy to achieve what you want to achieve, right? So I'm going to reduce that, and with my flow set to 3, I'm just going to come to these areas and apply a little bit of that glowing white light, right? So as a matter of fact, it feels as if he is on fire, and yeah, that's what it feels like. Just make sure you are doing the BRS minimum, right? You can see I've added to those areas. I'm just going little by little. My flow is set to 3, guys, 3. Apply here, and what you want to do is, when you have done this, go to blending option for this one also, and when it pops out, hold down the Alt key, come here and drag the slider to this part here. For this you won't be doing too much, it's just okay, blended well here, and break this up also, right? So when you're done, click OK. So what you should do is go back to camera raw, and I'm clicking on the image now. A couple of things I want to add to it, like under basics, I would like to increase the temperature, make it warmer, and dehaze it like this. You can follow my settings, and add some more texture to it, and let's see. Okay, at this point you can click OK. It's fine, perfect. And before, and this is after, right? So what you want to do here is, under exposure, increase the gamma correction like this, and no, the exposure is too much.
I'm going to leave this here so you can work with this. You can use my settings, right, to achieve this, and boom, you have this nice light thing going around, right? So I'm just going to review these areas, the teeth, the mouth, and these areas. Light should hit all these parts. I'm just revealing it. So basically I'm doing lighting, dodge and burn, and all of these things in just this. I'm going to make this area darker, so you can see my flow is set to 3, please. So I'm just going to darken the areas I need to darken like this, and I'm good to go. Darken this part, and I'm good to go. Darken this part, and I'm good to go. Eyelashes, all these areas, I'm going to make them dark. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's move on. I can turn on the lights now. You can see how effective this is, right? So this is the lights. I'm going to make a duplicate copy of the lights, right? Linear dodge add, everything is linear dodge add. I'm going to make a duplicate copy of this lights, but before then, double click on this color, and I want to go over to the reddish color just so it blends with the lights that I created. You can see how it's blending now. So double click on this, and I want to move no, stay here. So I have this fire-like kind of light effect going around the edges, right? Okay, so this is perfect, right? So what I want to do next is click on adjustment layer, click on curves, and select red and move it upward to add some red to it, right? So this is like a cheat code when you are using your curves. If you want to add some specific colors to it, right? So you can come here and change it to red and go back to RGB and bring this down so I can darken the whole effect going on there, right? So this is what I want to achieve. Okay, so you can take adjustment layer, let's see. No, not hue and saturation, sorry about that. Delete, go ahead and delete this. Bye. Delete this and go to adjustment layer. We're using color balance instead, right? Create clipping mask and add some reds and yellows. Just follow my settings. And for highlights, of course, I'm going to tilt towards the yellows, and yeah, that's what you get. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this, Ctrl J, and I have this, but I'm going to right click to convert to smart objects like this, and I'm going to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. I'm going to increase the blur value so that it spreads, and when you're spreading it, don't spread it like this so it gets too close to the image. No, make sure you have this space in between, right? So you can do this, you have the space going on, and you can click OK like that. So you want to make sure that you are making your light effect and your compositioning very, very realistic to the basic minimum, right? So change this from normal to linear dodge add. If you said that, you guessed that right. So change it to linear dodge add. You can see the difference between linear dodge add and screen. So you can use linear dodge add, but for this one I'm going to use screen, and I'm going to drag the layer down below the image like this, and voila, this is what you get. So This is good, and we're good to go. Okay, so right about now, let's go ahead and bring in our next image, which is this, and we can click drag and drop inside, and yeah, this is what you have. I'm going to drag it below the image, right? So it's not on top of the image. Ctrl T and actually move this to this side here. So you have the first line. Click enter. A couple of things you want to do with this. Let me make it big so it extends to the bottom like this. I might still move this upward, right? So what you want to do is mask it up, and of course get rid of the edges. Increase the size of your brush, and increase my flow to 100, and get rid of the edges. Make sure you're on black, and change the blend mode to screen. Yes, good, screen. And good, go to filter, go to blur, Gaussian blur, and reduce, and yes, click OK, like this. Okay, so duplicate this, you can Ctrl J this, and let me get rid of this part first. I'm going to get rid of, with my brush selected, reduce my flow. I don't want it to be too much. Get rid of this part like this, and this part also. Okay, so yeah, good to go. So you can Ctrl J, then Ctrl T, and you can flip horizontal, bring it this way, flip horizontal back, and yeah, just dragging it this way, bring it here, and this is what I have. Okay, so select the mask and bring this down, and bring this in like this, and move it upward like this. Select the two of them, group them, and you can name this Bitcoin background, kind of. Adjustment layer, color balance, and make sure you clip to the Bitcoin itself. Create clipping mask like this, and tilt towards the yellow, just like this. Make sure you're not doing too much, very important. And I'm also going to do for the mid-tone and the highlights, just so everything is balanced off. So shadows and highlights I meant. So I'm doing for shadows. So of course I'm going to add blues to the shadows for this to make it realistic. And for the highlights, I'm going to go towards the red and all the way to the yellow to make it pop more. Okay, good. And so this is what you have. Move it downward a bit, and voila, you're good to go. So I'm going to add another adjustment layer, hue and saturation, and I'm just going to move towards this part here, use my settings. Okay, +9 does its saturation, increase the saturation, and boom, the background is now the way I'd want it to be. right? So okay, so now that you have your light source and everything in place, I'm just going to order my layers, and when I mean order my layers, of course, arrange them well. And if you are in the mockup or premium group, I'll be posting the PSD file, which is this file, so that you can practice along with and learn along with. So if you want to enjoy premium contents like this, like I would always be posting my PSD files for my designs on that platform. So if you are not on that platform, I don't know, you know what you're missing already. So I'm just going to put this down. So immediately I drop this video, I'm going to drop the PSD file in that platform. So all ye premium subscribers, you can use that to practice and to get things done very well. So I'm using color balance, and I'm just going to make this adjustment. If you want to join, you can a link will be on the group for you to join the premium channel, right? So I'm just going to be using this. You can see how this has come to life with the color balance adjustment and all of that. Great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to let's see, select the image, one final adjustment, increase the texture all the way to like 62 or 76. Let's see, reduce the blacks and click OK. And yeah, that's it. Right, so I have my image grouped and everything is in place, color balance in place. I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to introduce my text. Just going to type a few things, and we're good to go. Right, so if you've not also purchased the Smart Graphic Designer premium asset, it's also in the premium group. So all of these things are already inside of the premium group. So if you're a premium member, you are enjoying all of these things. So you can do well to click the link where it gets you subscribed to the group and join other users that are already enjoying this premium content. Right, great. So I'm just going to create this manually. So using red instead, I'm just going to use red, and use this other one, and voila, apply the stroke effect, use this, and boom, we're good to go. Click OK and click OK. Right, so you can see how easy and straightforward this has been. So if you like this video and if you've enjoyed the process, kindly click on the like button, and if you've not subscribed, please subscribe so you won't miss any of this content. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.